Hello, I am the Dungeon Tutor. Welcome. Since 2016, I've been answering your questions, giving advice and inspiration to countless gamers. Here, you can ask questions in the comments and get your own videos as an answer. So I encourage you, enjoy by all means. But come back to visit with your friend, the Dungeon Tutor. Hello friends, I am the Dungeon Tutor. Welcome. Today I am doing RPGaDay 2025. Today is day 16. We're over the hump. And day 16, the topic is renew. Now, what are we going to talk about renewal? A couple of interesting elements in role-playing games about renewal, but I'm going to talk about my own personal experience. We're going to get a little autobiographical here. I'm just going to say, right now, I am so sick of Dungeons & Dragons. 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons especially. I can't think of a game right offhand that I want to play less than 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Now, you may have heard this before. You may know people who despise 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. You may find people who can't find any merit in the game outside of lots of people like it, so there's always somebody to play with. But I can go a step further, and I can say that what it does to players, with the way that it kind of compels people to play their game, I really can't stand it. It really turns people into accountants for their characters rather than role players. They're worried about their builds these days and what powers they're going to unlock at what time. Everything's on a schedule, it seems. I know, that's not everybody, but it seems like even my own little group has been infected by this, which has sucked a great deal of the joy of role-playing out of me. Because I am tired of playing by formula. Just advancing your character and getting through so that you can get that next class with that ability and hunt for the item that will unlock. We've seen all this from 3rd edition. 4th edition tried to get rid of it, but it didn't. It just was just as bad, just in different ways. Less choices, yeah, but different ways. And 5th edition fell right back into it. With you can go online easily enough and find tiers for all of the different classes and subclasses under them. All the different paths that you can take are all ranked S tier, A tier, B, C, D, and F. Sure, you could do that, absolutely. And even sometimes good players who want their characters to be as potent as possible will be tempted to do this. I'm so tired of it. So tired. That's it. I liked it when people had a character concept and they made it. And then as their character played and did things, they would learn the skills that reflect that thing. Even in D&D we did it to a certain extent. When people could prestige class or go into different classes, some of my players still did the things that were available and made sense for their characters. Not because of some grand plan they had. I remember my very first epic campaign in 3rd edition. We had a bard. Yeah, we had a bard. And he eventually wanted to become, he was he was human. He wanted to become an arcane archer. Wasn't an elf. It's usually pretty banned. But his character became pretty precious to the elves through the course of the game. They kind of adopted him. So that allowed him to actually take that prestige class. And was it a solid prestige class? Something that really did enhance it? No, it sucked. It wasn't a good prestige class at all. It really wasn't great. But he wanted it because he liked the flavor of it. And he worked hard and he got his class. That looking back on it, all he needed was a better magical weapon. His magical bow he got in the end was pretty darn good, and a lot of the advantages of that just kind of went not all that big of a deal, really. I'm not saying there wasn't anything of positive usage for that class, but it wasn't wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic. I think he'd have been better off just staying barred to 20th level, honestly. But that was how we played, and that was early. Well, I'm not going to say it was early, but it was early for us because, well, we moved into this house in 2001, so yeah, 3rd edition hadn't been out for all that long when we started that campaign. As a matter of fact, it was kind of serendipity because the Epic level handbook came out when we needed it. So we were like 2 levels away from Epic, and it finally came out, and we were like, okay, cool, we can add this in. And that campaign went to 27th, 28th level. It was a bloated beast by the time we were done. And, yeah, it was a great campaign, but now I look at my experience of D&D, and it's just like, I see people leveling up, you know, the ultimate payoff, and they're all excited. They're all so excited to level up, as we always are, right? Whenever our characters advance, we're excited. It's progress. But then you get the old beards, and they don't have beards. I'm just using that as an example. Who, when somebody levels up, they'll be like, oh, you should take this. This is by far the best thing you could take right now. That's why every single one of my spellcasters that hits 3rd level gets Counterspell. They all get it. It is the most important spell to a player. I'm not saying there isn't reason for it. Absolutely. But it is the most annoying thing when your players say, you can't play with your toys. No, you can't use that magic against us. Which then compels us game masters to turn around and go, okay, you're going to start facing an uncomfortable number of opponents who can also cast Counterspell back at you. I mean, if you really want to do this, we can do this. But we do. That's what we do. And yeah, the acceptance of things like that are really things that take D&D away from me. Now, what does this have to do with Renew, you might ask? Well, it's quite simple. My approach to this, because I'm locked into a long-term D&D campaign. There is this D&D campaign that I've been doing now. It's been 1.5 years. And we're going through one of the pre-made adventures. We're going through the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Undermountain. We're doing it. And I know I'm not fond of dungeon crawling. I like more plot. And to be fair, each one of the levels of Undermountain has something of a plot, but not much. It's not satisfying. And as we're going through it, I mean, I've even let them sidebar on a long trek across the western portion of Faerun from Waterdeep to Mithranor. We're about to get to Mithranor. Just as a sidebar to get out of that damn dungeon for a little while. And it wasn't enough. We're still playing D&D. We're still doing the things that annoy and frustrate me. So I'm talking about renewal. I'm talking about my strategy and how I can renew any interest in a D&D based game. And it's pretty straightforward. I needed a vacation. I did. I've done this before, but it's usually under a very certain set of circumstances, and my players never pick up on these cues, so. But eventually there does get to be a point where I get just tired of the game we're playing for one reason or another, and there's a variety of them. When we did our 2-year-plus game of Vampire the Masquerade, which was Chronicle Across the Ages, starting in 1100 AD and ending up in modern times, I didn't get tired of that, because there were some really deep stories. There were some really interesting character developments there, and the system is a lot more interesting in my mind than D&D. In D&D, familiarity may breed some contempt, that is true, but I have concrete reasons why I'm just kind of tired of it. And then when we get to, what do? I take a vacation. I told everybody I'm on sabbatical. I'm not available for gaming. I will not run Dungeons & Dragons. So what did we do? We played the Red Dragon Inn, a card game which is a blast. You're playing competitively, everybody out to win, usually. And your goal is to drive the other players out of the game, either by injuring them too badly, getting them passed out drunk, or taking all of their money so they have to go out and sleep in the stables. Any one of those ways will get rid of an opponent. If any of those happen to you, you're out of the game. So it's a fairly straightforward game. And we played all night long. It was great. Did it recharge my batteries? Not to the full. No. But another thing that'll help is I have a convention to go to. Yes. While you're watching this, I am at a convention somewhere. That somewhere is Appleton, Wisconsin. To a convention called PhoenixCon. And there I am going to play. I'm the eternal game master. At my house, I always run the games. My players rarely volunteer to run a game for any length of time. When they do, it seems too short. Nobody runs games as long as I do, which is fine. That is my thing. But, you know, it's almost like you're getting a sip of a character rather than the full course meal. In this case, I'm going to a con, and I'm going to play. I'm going to run 4 games, yes. I'm running Shadow Dark, I'm running Ghostbusters 86, I'm running Swords and Wizardry Light, and I am running It Came from the Late 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 Show. At least I'll run them if I have players for them. Sometimes if you're not doing D&D, you're not going to grab players. I think I'm going to get plenty of people to Shadow Dark, which is the new hotness. After that, we'll see. We really will see. But I have a hook for every single one of them. They should be fantastic games. So I really hope to have full players. That would be nice. It would be very affirming, I'll say that. And when I'm not doing that, because all my games are done by early afternoon, I'm going to play. I'm going to play my little heart out. I'm hoping to play about 8 games, which would be great. 8 games, 4 hours apiece, 20 plus hours of gaming, that'd be great. That would be a good amount of salve for this tired soul. I'd be hopefully energized enough to consider going back and running Dungeons and Dragons again for a while. At least until that campaign is over. Now, you might say to yourself, and I wouldn't blame you, Rob, why are you running Dungeons and Dragons? It's your choice, isn't it? Your players aren't tying you down and making you do it, are they? No, not as such, but I felt I owed it to them. I've got good players. I've got a group a lot of people would kill for, and they generally support me, but they love Dungeons and Dragons. This is a game they absolutely loved, and we're doing in a campaign that they absolutely want to do. They want to explore all of Undermountain. They want to beat all the monsters, solve the stories of each level, and eventually get to this great climax when their characters are 20th level. Yes, there's a lot of that push to get to 20th level, which is fine. But that's it, right? I'm doing it for them. And I know I wasn't going to be, over the moon about this campaign. There's a lot of other games I have that I would much rather be running right now. I would rather take their characters and translate them to Dungeon World and run Dungeon World for them. Or Burning Wheel, converting the Undermountain into Burning Wheel. I would do that in a heartbeat. Fantasy Age. No problems at all. I would love to do that. You just give me a chance, and I would absolutely eat that up. It just goes on and on. But I'm going to finish this campaign. I'm going to let them have the victory of getting through, assuming they don't TPK, and that's unlikely, but their characters are pretty well stocked right now. And then, when it's all said and done, damn sure I'm not going to be running D&D 5th Edition anytime soon. I might play in it if somebody offers to run it, because I just want to play. But the next game I run is certainly not going to be that. And if I do get a hankering for fantasy again, because fantasy is my first love, it's probably going to be Shadow Dark, or something else like it. Maybe it will be Burning Wheel. Maybe it will be, I don't know, The One Ring. Tolkienian fantasy. Let's do this. Free League? Heck yeah. But that's my secret. I burn out just like anybody else. I get exhausted. And right now, I loathe the game that I'm running. But my players love it. It's their power fantasy. And they've loved their characters that they've made. So, am I going to be the guy who tells them, no, you can't play this game anymore and I'm just tired of running it? No, that's not how I do things. I'll get through it. But yeah, I had to do it. I had to take the vacation. I had to take the time off. So last week, I didn't run. We played Red Dragon Inn. This week, I'm not running games except for what I do at the cons, which are 4-hour long, in and out. No extra ties. Once we're done, the players hopefully have been entertained and we go our separate ways. No further work required. So all I have to do is get ready for those. I'll be okay. We'll be okay. I'm not too worried. But at this point, I'm just tired. I really am. But I need this renewal period. It's appropriate, and it's what my body and my soul demand. So that's what I'm doing. And my players, honestly, are being good about it. No complaints. No, I really do need to go in and kill some orcs or something. No. They're being decent about it. And that's means a lot to me. That my players are backing me up and supporting me. So, that's my strategy. And maybe it would work for you if you start to feel peaked yourself. Change is good. Doing new games is great. I can't recommend it enough. Again, it blows my mind hearing about a person who's run a campaign now in the same game, same group, same table for 30 plus years. I can't see it. I respect for the people who can. I've loved my campaign worlds, the ones I've created and more, but I couldn't do it. I've got too many other games and too many opportunities to play games I love. I would miss Shadowrun. I would miss a chance to play GURPS. I would miss any of these games that I've got on my horizon that I can't wait to spring for people. Games like Colonial Gothic. Games like... I could look anywhere and tell you. I have some games that I don't want to run, but just about anything Free League did, I would like to run. And yeah, for my group here, I wouldn't mind running a game of Morkborg and seeing what they think of that. But also Duckborg. Yes, there's a game called Duckborg. You play in Duckburg from DuckTales, but turned more Morkborg. No joke. Absolutely true. And I have it. It's crazy. But that's what I have to look forward to. That is my shining light at the end of the tunnel, is that when the time I'm done with my labors in 5th edition, in the 5th edition salt mines, I can move on to something else. And I can put it behind me until I get that taste for it back. It'll probably come eventually, but it might take years. And that's okay. So, that's how I plan on renewing. Thank you for listening to me. I do appreciate you. And I hope you got something out of this, other than just listening to me whine. And if you yourself have had those situations, by all means, leave something in the comments. We'll talk. I'll sympathize, certainly, because I am going through that myself. And hopefully we can take a break together, talk, and renew our interest and rekindle our love for what is a very good game. 5th edition D&D is a very good role-playing game, by the way. I'm not dissing it. I'm not dunking on it. If you like it, I'm not attacking you. 5th edition D&D is fine. I'm just tired of it. Extraordinarily tired of it. And I am looking for other options. So, the axe is kind of telling. I'll agree with you there. I really didn't consider the implications of it for this. That's okay. I do hope to see you for the next video, though, because we still got more to do for RPGaDay. And hopefully I'll see you next time. And if I do, between that happy time and now, I hope that you, yes, you get a chance to roll some dice, to play some games, to have some fun, but stay safe out there, friends. Until that next time, farewell.